Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Today we're in the beautiful city of Austin, Texas, downtown, one of the best pickleball facilities that I've ever played at. We're gonna be here today with my good friend, Michael Salm, who works for the Founders League. Haven't even known him for a year, but we clicked right away, hit it off, and it was because of pickleball that brought us together. So we're going to be keeping the themes per usual around racket sports, specifically around pickleball, faith, and overcoming adversity, breaking through to the other side. Without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome back, guys. Here for another episode here today. Wish we were outside. We're at this beautiful facility downtown Austin, right outside downtown, with one of my closest friends here in Austin, Michael Salm. And but because of the rain, we pivoted to an equally beautiful indoor facility. So a little bit about Michael. It's crazy to think we haven't even met a year ago.
It's been like 7 months.
Is that what it is? 7 months?
Yeah.
And I said, like, he's one of my closest friends. So I think that's just a testament to, you know, how we hit it off so quickly. He's from Wisconsin. I'm from Ohio. So those Midwest roots and values, I think, played a big part in that. He comes from a business, sports law background, and he's already a legend in the pickleball space. He's doing big things that we'll get into, and he's a very humble guy, but I will gladly, toot his horn a bit because I look up to him in a lot of ways. But even more, importantly, what he's doing off the court, he's a hell of a player. So that's like, I think, the secret that most people don't know about Michael. He's I'm itching to play Moneyball with him. I just can't find a tournament, or our schedules can't align. So without further ado, we'll get into it. We'll keep the theme very similar to what it's been: racket sports, faith, and breakthroughs. And I know it'll take a life of its own. So with that, let's get into it. Thanks for being here, Michael.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yes. So we'll start with pickleball. Folks come on here. We talk padel, we talk tennis, we talk pickleball. Pickleball being the main one. Obviously, that's where your heart is, where your career is, and all those sorts of things. How did you get into it? And how has just like pickleball evolved for you over the past few years?
Yeah. So my claim to fame in pickleball is that I picked up pickleball before COVID.
Oh, okay.
So I started pickleball before COVID.
Okay. That's a rarity.
Yeah. It doesn't exist much.
No.
But where it all started was my family. So strong racket sport background in my family. My dad was a big racquetball player back in the day. Grew up playing that. I grew up playing tennis as well. But on a family vacation, we were out at this place in Colorado. They had some pickleball courts. We were just out there playing with wooden paddles.
Oh, no way.
And like, no joke, there's this guy driving down, because it was along a small 2-lane highway in Colorado.
Okay.
He saw us playing pickleball. It was also like a basketball court. And he pulls over off this 2-lane highway, jumps it's like a ranch fence. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like a little wood fence thing. Jumps the fence. House over says, "Hey, mind if I jump in? Like, can we play?" And we're like, "Yeah."
No, why not?
And he comes in and he has real pickleball paddles.
My first time.
And it was the first time I played with a real pickleball paddle, and I was like, "Wow!" And this is, but I say real. It was the slipperiest face I've ever played with. There's no grit, no nothing. This is like 2018, 2019.
2019 already.
And but I was like, oh, like when it's not a wood paddle, you can actually like play and do things.
Yes. Now these were probably like, it was just a setup line, painted lines, or was it
painted lines on like asphalt.
Yes.
Little pebbles, so like the ball just would sometimes and whatever else. But that's kind of where the pickleball journey started. And
so
then,
coming from tennis, did you like, what is this dopey sport? Or were you like right away like, oh man, this is kind of cool?
I had been avoiding pickleball. Me and my family, my dad, racquetball background.
Yeah.
We had all been avoiding pickleball for years.
Oh my gosh.
And then we played and we're like, why did we avoid pickleball for years?
Yes.
So, I avoided it for a long time.
What was the
and now
ball
I love it.
Back in 2018, 19? What kind of ball? I mean, it would like.
So the one there was,
Duras,
the one we were playing at in Colorado was an indoor ball.
Oh, wow. Okay.
we had no clue. No difference. No difference to us. And then Franklin's were like the thing back then.
Okay. So Franklin was around.
Yeah. Like 2020 is when I really started playing.
Yeah.
We played family vacation stuff, 2018, 2019. Yeah. But started playing like most during COVID. But I found it before COVID.
That is okay. So your journey has been like 6-7 years already.
Yeah.
And during COVID then, did it just, so from 2018, 2019, did did it just continue to escalate in terms of the interest, how you got involved in the game, how much you played, the people that you got involved with? What did that look like?
Yeah, so during COVID, at the beginning of COVID, I actually lived in
Okay.
New Jersey. I was the director of leadership development and strategic partnerships at Rutgers University.
Okay.
And then 3 months into COVID, I actually took a new job. So this was like at the end of the spring semester in university world. And I became the deputy athletic director and chief of staff at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. Pickleball was one of the few outlets at that time. I mean, think about university setting, COVID, all the other things that were going on. I was second in charge of an athletic department at that point in time, and the buildings were shut down. You couldn't do things, contact-wise, really, with peers, student athletes too much. I mean, we had the racquetball courts were shut down.
Yeah.
Pickleball, being outside, was like the only outlet that I had that was like an unfiltered outlet that I could also engage with our business partners, our donors, our provost, our professors. I could go play pickleball with them in an outdoor setting, open air, on these public tennis courts, and connect with our community. So that was like so key when I was at Platteville. It was one of the only ways that I could connect with the community and the human beings that made Platteville, Wisconsin so special and unique.
And that's probably just the way that you explain it, probably one of your fondest memories of that experience, that season of life, I should say.
One of the best ones. Oh God, what's his name, Jim? One of the best ones. 94-year-old man.
Jeez.
Playing pickleball with that guy.
Yeah.
And he still had hands. And I was like, if I get to 74 and play as good as this 94-year-old,
cool.
He literally has an article written about him that he sent me a picture of from like the UW Platteville Times, whatever.
Yeah.
He says a 94-year-old that played pickleball there in town, and he was one of like I considered him a friend when I was there. It was awesome.
That's
so like,
so
yeah, it was definitely fondest memories. COVID was stressful as all get out in college athletics and being an admin and leader in that time frame, and it was definitely a blessing to have pickleball.
Well, I mean, it's I'm very outspoken. I love many racket sports, but it's you can't deny that pickleball is the best when it comes to transcending age, generations. It doesn't matter. You could have a grandchild playing with a great grandparent, 94 years old.
It's crazy.
That is something that you can't take away from pickleball. In that story, is just another example, of that. No, I didn't. I forgot it was pre-COVID. So like over this span, like 7 years of pickleball, in the grand scheme of things, is a long lifetime already for how new the sport is, and how involved you are with the game. What would you say has been your biggest lesson on the court and off the court from pickleball?
Biggest lesson from pickleball.
And I'll second that with like, what do most people who are just considering getting into the game, what do they maybe get wrong about the game?
Okay.
Those are two wildly different questions, but like,
they definitely
I
intersect.
wanted to get that out there.
They definitely intersect. I think the biggest lesson and also biggest message that I have for people that want to get into the game and where it intersects is have fun. I think a lot of people, I was actually talking about this week. So I was in Miami for a Founders League championship. I was in Scottsdale for a Founders League kickoff event seasons and stuff like that. So I get to talk with a lot of people that are in and around pickleball. And a common theme that's come up at both those two was it's such a fascinating sport because everybody has an initial, I'm getting good at this. No matter, like if you start from brand new, never picked up a paddle of anything in your life, to you were a tennis player and now you're transitioning into pickleball and whatever else, everybody in the first month or two has this moment where they're like, oh, I'm getting better at this. I could get really good at this.
Yeah.
And everybody in that moment thinks, maybe I'm that person that's going to go pro, or maybe I'm the person who's going to win Moneyball.
That is a real life cycle.
It's wild. And I think one of the, it's awesome because that's why people love pickleball, because you have this like injection of positivity.
It's so invigorating.
It's a dopamine hit. It's also a confidence booster. It's wonderful, but don't lose sight of why you like to play, and it's because it's fun.
Man, that's so
Don't get sucked into I think I could be the one to go pro. Don't get sucked into, I want to be, you know, on the senior pro circuit or win money balls right away. Like, always remember, like, have fun. And before the podcast, before the camera started rolling, you and I were talking about this, but it's like my favorite thing about pickleball is like serving others on the court.
Yeah.
And it sounds weird to say, but when you think about it, like when I'm playing pickleball, 90% of my matches, I'm out there to have fun, play sessions, matches, whatever you want to call them. And my biggest priority during those sessions is we're partners. I want to make sure my partner's having a blast on the court.
I wish
We're playing Bob and Sue across the court. I want to make sure Bob and Sue are having a blast.
Yeah.
I really don't care if I win.
Yeah.
I mean, I will intentionally like make sure that the points are dynamic. I'll spread the ball around. You can lob, you can, you know, leave a ball up a little high and work on your resets, whatever you want to do on that end. Like serve the other people on the court and have fun.
Right.
And the game will just open itself up to you.
For our viewers, like that is as simple as that is, like incredible advice. And we're not saying, because I agree, 100% agree with what Michael just shared. Not saying like don't be competitive by any means, but next time you hit the courts, maybe compliment your partner, a little bit more, or just be a little more positive, or just don't take yourself so seriously.
Kiss the net cord after it rolls over.
Kiss exactly. As simple as it is, like that. And it's funny how that'll work, because the intention shouldn't be like, oh, well, this is now going to improve my play, but inevitably it will, because you'll get into a different frame of mind where you'll be in a better flow state, and things will just kind of take care of itself. And you know what? Maybe you don't play better, but you're going to be happier. You're going to be, walk a little freer, a little lighter, and it's win-win. So that's great advice. And I think, by and large, for the majority of pickleballers who are out there playing every single day, there's a lot of folks that are just, a tad too serious. So that's thank you for sharing that. That's good. How about, because it's real, where I love how the game is now around where people feel like they could be a part of something that they could get better at and get to that next level, potentially from no athletic background, someone who's pre-college, college, and want to go to pro, like that's possible with pickleball. What would be your biggest piece of advice for someone who's maybe plateauing or struggling, but they have that potential? Like, what would you tell that person?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you followed up your previous question with this one, because my main message is have fun on the court, serve the other people on the court, make sure that everybody around you is having a good time.
Yeah.
I'd be really sad not to mention how addicted I am to also getting better at pickleball.
Yeah. We'd be lying if we didn't say that wasn't the case at all. Like,
the first time you and I played together, we drilled.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Oh, it was so fun.
And so my biggest piece of advice or message to those that want to get better at pickleball, there's layers to the sport. And I think one of the biggest things you can do, and this is going to be repetitive, you'll see it everywhere, you can drill and drill with intention. The anecdote, or why I say that, is I think I was like a lot of people. I got the bug. I thought I could be good. It was a blast. I was watching a bunch of it. Disclosure, I went to undergrad with like Zane Navratil. Him and I were, go way back. And so I was watching his YouTube
top player
videos.
on tour.
Yeah, one of the top players on the pro tour. OG of the sport. He's been playing since like 2013. Which makes no sense to me.
Oh, I didn't know he was that far back. Oh my God.
Yeah. His first thing, his butt got kicked at some like morning play session with a bunch of 65-year-olds when he was still in undergrad, apparently. That's the story on the street. I'll let him tell that one.
Okay.
But you should have him on. That would be a blast.
Yeah, would love to.
But yeah, so I was watching his YouTube videos, watching his matches. This was like when Bar and Zane Navratil, and like these guys were having these long drawn out crazy points with the Franklin X40s and whatever stuff. And I got a text message from somebody, and I was playing only basically open plays, community sessions, whatever. And I was like, I'm good. I had just won a 4.0 plus tournament. Like
you're
first tournament
you're
ever.
Feeling good.
Feeling great. I got a text message from somebody, and they were like, hey, there's this girl coming into town. She's from Texas. She's going to play the APP Chicago Open. She's playing 5.0 plus. Her partner just bailed on it. This was like Tuesday.
Okay.
leading into the tournament. Her partner just bailed on her, had some family stuff that popped up. Like, you're one of 2 people I know in Wisconsin that could like maybe hang in a 5.0 plus tournament.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
sure.
you want to play? I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Let's
like,
get it.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm playing well.
I know where this
I'm
is
laughing
going.
already. So like, by the way, her name is Kate Mills.
Okay.
She lives in Austin.
Okay.
We've played since I've been back, like since I moved down to Austin. So like the world just seems to keep interconnecting
So
here, by the
small,
way,
too.
which is crazy. But we show up at this APP Chicago tournament. It's 8 a.m. We're warming up. I feel like I'm on fire. I hit like 40 drops in a row
Yeah.
when we're warming up. This
Dialed.
is great. Dialed. We walk out to this first match.
Yeah.
I have never been so uncomfortable on a pickleball court. Their dinks were doing things dinks did not do at open play. The arc of the ball was
It's a
different.
little different.
The deception was like, what is going on? And it was just like eye-opening.
Yeah.
And we did fine in the first match. We lost 2 games to 1 game.
Yeah.
We went into the back draw. We won a match in the back draw.
Yeah.
And then we got our butts kicked in the second match, and we were out in 3 matches, and it was 9:45 in the morning. And I was like, what just happened? I had never been that uncomfortable. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
A, I thought I was good. B, you're not good. C, I want to get better.
Yeah.
And it just like tripped this trigger. And then literally for the next 2.5 years,
Yeah.
4 to 6 days a week, I would drill for 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
And then play for 45 minutes to an hour. 4 to 6 days a week.
Wow.
And you want to know how you get better?
How?
That. Drill.
Yeah.
Just do thousands and thousands and thousands of resets. Thousands of drops. Do scramble drops. Do the one where you have 2 people at the kitchen line, 1 person's back in the middle at the baseline.
Yeah.
And they're literally maybe 60% speed, pumping at corner, pumping at corner, and you're just back and forth, on the run, hitting a drop. You're not trying to hit a winner. All you're doing is on the run, hitting a drop, hitting a drop, hitting a drop.
And that's what it requires. Today's day and age, with how advanced the game is becoming.
Yeah.
The tour, I mean, month over month, it's just the level's getting higher and higher.
Yeah.
The skill, the athleticism. And it reminds me from my tennis days, my coach, you know, he would say, not that OCD is good, but you look at all the greats in any sport, they are obsessive. And that's the level of commitment and focus you need to have to the 1%.
Yeah.
You know, the 1% of the 1%. And hitting thousands of balls.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get that in a game.
No.
You're not going to have the exposure to those, you know, hitting a drop. Maybe in a game to 11, you're going to have like 3 opportunities. Drilling is the only way to do that.
The biggest unlock it does too, and you hit that on the head, is what people that only play open play don't realize is how few reps they're getting in very specific scenarios.
Yep.
And what that does, because in a game, if you haven't drilled many, many times leading into that match and you miss a backhand drop, whatever you're trying to do, the next time it goes to your backhand drop, you got thoughts going through your head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you've drilled and you've hit 10,000 of those in the last 6 months, you're like, okay, I missed the last one. Who cares?
You're a tad more comfortable.
Next, it gives you that safety net, that fallback, that comfort, the whatever, that you're like, okay, I'll make the next one. Who cares?
I've been here. I've put in the work. And decision making, I think, is a little more sound when you're in the pressure situation.
Because instead of trying to avoid the shot that you just missed,
you're not going to
just go
press
hit
as
it.
much. You're just, and there are times where you could kind of like, fewer times than not, of course, you're going to, get lucky where you could pull something off. But over the course of a whole tournament and a whole game, it's not going to happen. There's no secret. You just got to get put in the work and you got to get put in the reps. But I think it's you couple that with putting yourself in those situations by playing not just open play, but like entering a tournament when you can. Yeah. Because you could do it in practice all day long, but then doing it in a tournament, like when you showed up in Chicago, the APP, you were feeling good. You may have put in drills, and we know,
I didn't really before, but
it just, you feel different. And so like, I think, would you agree? Like playing tournaments is a totally different beast, an animal that you have to put yourself in.
You have to get tournament reps.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to get tournament reps. And that's one of the things too so my second APP Chicago was another turning point for me. This time I was going in with a guy named Matt Cooley. He was my partner for 2.5 years in men's doubles in Wisconsin. And he was the guy that I would drill with 4 to 5 times a week there. And the second AVP tournament, we go in, we're feeling great. We've been drilling for a lot. We've been doing all these things. And we play well.
Yeah.
We went like 500. We went 2-2. We beat a really good team. We did all this stuff. Like it was a good day. Yeah. I didn't feel uncomfortable on the court.
Yeah.
It was a good loss. But what we realized, we weren't drilling with the intensity of a 5.0 plus APP tournament match experience. Yeah. And so that's the next like layer to this whole thing. Drill.
Yeah.
If you really want to get good, make sure you're being honest with yourself that your drills are matching the pace and the intensity of matches in a tournament.
Yeah.
Are you actually putting as much pressure on your partner in a drill as you would in a tournament? Are you going for the shots that you would? Are you trying to make them as uncomfortable as possible in the drill session so that in a tournament they thrive and they shine? That's like, oh, so key. And that was, so like APP Chicago, fond place in my heart. First time I felt really uncomfortable on a pickleball court. Second time it was like, oh yeah, drill as hard as you play in a tournament.
It's so good. That is gold advice. It's again, as simple as it is, like not that enough. From east to west coast in the pickleball world. So I think that's a good segue into kind of like our next kind of like theme in terms of just talking about mental toughness and faith and how the intersection of that. Like, it's safe to say, everything what we've been chatting about already, like pickleball is a mental game. So like how, like when things kind of go off track, you don't have a sense, you don't have a sense of peace on the court. You're losing strength. Where do you go? How do you fix that? You're down a game. Mental. It's so mental.
Oh, it's so mental. And I think, again, this is the importance of tournament reps too. In a rec play, you go down in a game, your mental's not as different. You go down a game in a match where you can get knocked out of a tournament, very different feeling. And I think where I go mentally is I take refuge in 2 things. One, I did a lot of work. It's that old Kobe Bryant thing. Like,
Mamba mentality.
Like, and I'm not the Kobe Bryant of pickleball, but
no one is.
But that mentality of like, amazing. I'm going to practice so much that I'm not nervous.
Yeah,
is very real.
Yep.
And then B is, what's the worst thing that's going to happen if I lose this match?
Yeah.
Like, you remind yourself of that.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I wish I could go back 15, 20 years when I was playing, my competitive days and ask myself that question, because I was very notorious for like, oh man, Bryant, you're playing at such a high level. Like that's like a professional level. But then you get to the tournament and I would fight my internal demons. I'd have a lot of anxiety and my level was wildly different from the practice court. But that question I wish I would have asked myself then is, what's the worst thing that could happen? I'm still going to go eat a cheeseburger, eat something after this tournament, do the same thing, go back to school. And it's as simple as that is. If you could get yourself in the frame of mind, like life's going to go on.
Yeah. It always does.
Maybe like it won't be as tight or get yourself to a place where, mentally you can be freer.
It's a difference between not wanting to lose. And I don't know anybody that really enjoys losing. You can learn to take lessons from losses and like use losses. That's great. No one really enjoys it though.
No, of course not.
Or wanting to win. That's like the biggest unlock of that too, is I think it's a fear thing. A lot of people don't want to lose.
Yeah.
Very few people understand the difference between not wanting to lose and wanting to win.
Yeah. No.
It's a place of fear versus a place of like going to get it.
Yeah, to get it.
And doing the reps and doing these things, like they unlock the ability to actually go and get it.
Yeah. No.
Like I am going to unlock a win, not I am going to avoid a loss.
Yep. And it's one I think it's a difference of like, I'm going to go attack and make this happen versus like, I hope this comes to me. And that never happens when you play to lose and hope for the best players in the world to give it to you, because that doesn't happen. They will not give it to you.
The best players in the world, let alone the 5.0 plus guys at Moneyball's here, they're still not going to give it to you. No,
yeah,
you gotta
go take it. You gotta take it. Grab the bull by the horns and take it.
Yeah.
How has your definition of failure and success over the years, since like on and off the court, changed as you've gone through life?
I think failure And success, I think a success is any time that like I feel like I'm having a meaningful experience. Like life is super valuable, and there's a lot of reasons why I've come to very much appreciate just like waking up the next day and being able to live life.
Amen.
And actually the necklace I have on right now is you could leave life right now, is what it says. And it's always a reminder to me that like, hey, this could get hit by a bus. There's a whole number of things. And it helps me cherish a lot of moments in it. And so that's just, I think I don't know where exactly I was going with that, but it fit there where it's just like, that's a big thing that keeps me grounded in the game too, is like, am I having an experience on the court that's enhancing my life?
Yeah. No, I think that's a beautiful way to answer it. One of my favorite books is The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, Dan Millman. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I've heard of it. I haven't read it yet.
But it's basically one of the takeaways is there are no ordinary moments. Like, you hear people say same shit, different day.
Yeah.
And I used to always say that. And now it's like, no, like every experience that I do, even if it's repetitive and the same thing, like there's something unique about that experience. They're slightly different, or, nothing's ever the same. And so like I thought of that only because of what you shared, and enjoying every experience and not taking for granted. You can't get hit by a bus. We're not guaranteed the next hour.
No,
like anything could happen.
A lot of things can happen.
Okay, so that's a unique experience, and I appreciate that because we hear how often what's success, and it's like, oh, I want to get to this financial level. I want to be in that relationship. I want to have that home, that like all the things which are not bad, which are not bad at all. Like they're there for a reason, and I want to strive for that type of stuff too. But it shouldn't be the end all be all.
That's the goal, and I think that's where, if you take the broader perspective and like you try and live a life that you want to live with and surround yourself with the people you want to spend time with and all these other things, the other stuff comes. And if that's what you're trying, how you're trying to structure your life is the broader things, I think it's very different too, because if you're focused on the financial goal, the car goal, this goal, like once you get to that goal, it's kind of, Simon Sinek, the infinite game. That's the message I'm going with here. It's like, it's an infinite Simon game Sinek. Of life. And like, you get to a goal, there's more life. And so you're not feeling fulfilled, right? And then, but if you're living for these broader purposes and these broader reasons, and then, it's on the path that'll take you to those goals, but you're focused on the bigger things, the bigger picture stuff, great. Then when you hit those goals, it's not like a in the road. It's not a, wow, I should feel fulfilled and I don't yet. No. You're living life for the people around you and for the experiences and for, all these other things. These are just like other signals that life's going good.
Exactly. No, that's so well said. So like, more along those lines, as we're trying to live that life of just like, enjoyment, satisfaction, taking, being thankful for everything along the path, the good and the bad, inevitably life gets messy. Things get complicated.
Yep.
They're never straightforward. It's never a linear path. Things, struggle comes about, adversity hits. Where do you go in those moments to like kind of just get some clarity or even guidance?
Pickleball is one of those. Like, no joke. Pickleball is definitely an escape for me. When life gets heavy, when life gets messy.
Go hit a ball. Go hit a wiffle ball.
Yeah. Well, the best thing about pickleball, and I'll get to other places I go next, but
no, we don't have
the
to.
reason why I love pickleball.
That's just so raw and honest. It is so true. It's why, it's, again, the fastest growing sport in America. Like the mental health benefits in the community, we say it like we're a broken record, but it doesn't happen there's a reason behind that.
Then let's just say something in my personal life is getting heavy, or something in work life is stressful or whatever. I find that when I step onto a pickleball court and I'm thinking about how I'm going to fix this stressful thing from work, or I'm thinking about this thing from life that's really weighing down on me right now, I get body bagged. Because I'm not focused. Right. And all of a sudden I'm getting hit, and I'm like, okay, focus. Think about pickleball. Think about the moment you're in, what you're doing right now. Everything else can take a backseat for the next 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
enjoy the game.
Yeah.
And then you come back to whatever you were thinking about that was so heavy before, and it's just like a little bit lighter. And like that's my signal that I'm thinking about other things is like if I'm getting body bagged too often,
Yeah.
probably got something else on my
Something
mind.
on your mind. No, that is so. I mean, it's I've experienced the same thing. Often, I mean, and especially my indicator is like, oh man, what's the score? You know, like I'm
Yeah.
so bad at that, and it's just like Brian, like come on, like
Yeah.
be here,
Mhm.
you know, because
Be here.
it's easy, you know, when there's so many stressors and things on the mind,
Yeah.
like to not to be present. But pickleball is one of the easier things
Yeah.
to just naturally let it kind of get away
Mhm.
because it's so fast paced.
Yeah.
You know, and of course the fun component of it, but like it's relative to like a tennis where the breaks in between are longer. It's so much easier for my mind to like go on it somewhere and then just be gone for a minute. Versus pickleball, pick up next ball, boom. That's what's so awesome about it.
Yeah, that's great.
Um,
Some of the other places I go to though is I run. I
okay.
love running. That's huge.
Yeah, aren't you training for like a half right now?
Half right now. Yeah.
Like
Nothing
no big
crazy.
deal. Like we ran. I got to train to ask you to do it again.
Yeah.
My goal's like low key, like a fast runner. Like it's
Hey, there's
impressive.
there's an engine under. It's covered a little bit. But there's an engine.
No, it's
under there.
not. Like
No, I'm just kidding.
it's yeah. Like it's you're running like 6-7 minute. I mean, it's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
But
Fastest.
okay, so running.
Yeah,
is an
running's
outlet.
nice outlet. The other one that I've actually gotten into more, and I had a friend that helped me kind of find it again, was writing.
Okay.
Not quite journaling, more gratitude-based stuff.
Uh-huh.
There's actually my mixed doubles partner from Austin that I played with quite a bit. Emmy De Los Santos is very big on the gratitude journaling thing on a very daily basis. One of the things that I don't do it on a daily basis yet, but I do it on a fairly regular basis. And I think one of the easiest ones though that I've adopted as well is it's called like a gratitude stone.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
it's just like a little rock. I think I have it. Oh, so mine's not a stone though. It's actually a shell.
Wow.
I didn't even mean to have it in my pocket, but I found this
Yeah.
shell in Florida, and it's just something that's supposed to fit in your hand or your palm or whatever. And in the morning and at night, you hold it for a second and you think about like, okay, what's one thing I was really, really grateful for today? What was like the thing I'm most grateful for from today at night before you go to bed? And you're just holding it and you think about it intentionally, because holding it down, like if you're thinking about it,
That's
you're feeling the
something different,
stone.
maybe. Yeah.
And when you think about it, you also then go through all the other things you were grateful at that day, trying to find the thing you were most grateful for that day. And that's been a really key grounding like habit to get into at night is this. I don't do the writing yet every day. I do the writing every now and then.
That.
But
I never heard of that. We hear it everywhere, you know, in life, on the internet, like, you know,
Yeah.
gratitude journals, like,
Mhm.
you know, what are you grateful for? And I've gotten away from it. I have, but I noticed the difference when you put pen to paper.
Yeah.
And you like just write down a few things you're thankful
huge.
for. But I'm gonna try this.
And this is easy.
That's yes.
But the act of picking it up and holding it intentionally and giving it like a squeeze and then thinking in your brain at the end of the day, like, what was I most grateful for today? You automatically filter through all the other little things. I was grateful for the awesome breakfast I had. I was grateful for the weather that we had today. I was grateful for this, in the search of what was the thing I was most grateful for that day. And that's been like a really cool grounding ritual routine for me on a daily basis.
So cool. Isn't it amazing? Like once you start that exercise, at least for me, I found, and consistency is what I need to be better with. But once you start writing, it opens up your mind to like, wow, there's like countless things that I'm thankful for. Like
so many
that it's never on the forefront of my mind because I'm thinking about my next problem or next, you know, stressor I need to deal with or thing at work or be it whatever. But when you write it down, like you could just keep writing.
There's so many. And that's like a whole
I always
different
thought
perspective.
that's interesting. Yeah, it's just a different perspective. Nothing. It's a real thing that it's free to do. I saw something recently. We're both big on like Twitter and X, and I mean we also share like a shared album of just like, you know, one of the many reasons I love you. Just the growth mindset that I'm constantly in when we're collaborating and chatting. But yeah, the growth mindset, but business advice.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it. But where was I going with this? Oh, the best things in life are free.
Yeah, it's all there right now.
It's simple things. The journaling.
Mhm.
You want to, get less stressed, go for a walk. You want to get clear of mind, go for a workout.
Yeah.
You want to lower that anxiety, meditate, pray. I mean, the best things truly are free.
You feel like life is getting really heavy. You
Yeah.
feel like it's going against you. It's turning around. It's whatever. Think about what you're grateful for.
Yeah.
And find all the little reasons to be grateful. And it's just like it's the same life. It's just a different lens. And you're like, wow.
Yeah. No, that's so there has to be a moment in your life where you're like, man, something bigger is at work here. And maybe not, but I'd love to ask, like, if you're, if there is, like, on the court, off the court, if, have you had that type of experience? You're like, something's going on here. I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah. So it's funny. We've talked about many, many big things in life. This is actually one we haven't really talked about too much.
No.
We talked about it a little bit, I think, really early on. We were sitting next to a pickleball court after our morning drill session, chatting. And the way I like to frame it is, and this is something I've adopted from my family, is I belong to, it's called the CMO.
Okay.
Which is the Church of the Majestic Outdoors. I find that my most spiritual, it's much more spiritual than it is religious. But I think there's way too many things in life and in nature that are, if you just looked at them in one-offs, they'd coincidental, whatever. If you look at the broad picture, I mean, like, dude, you had gravity that was like 0.0000000% stronger. Like, I'm talking like minusculely stronger.
Yeah.
Everything in the entire universe is like collapse. If it's 0.0000000 whatever percent weaker, we're all just individual atoms. None of this exists.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I do think there's a higher power. I think if you want to call it God, if you want to call it whatever, and a spiritual energy that kind of guides the universe. There's way too many coincidences, way too much beauty behind us that makes up this world, and the fact that we are able to think about it, experience it, and whatever process it is, just it's too much of a coincidence to not think that there's something else in the universe.
Thanks for sharing that, bro. That's I think another episode, because we could go down a whole nother road, and that could be an hour's conversation and unpacking that and what that is. But that just sounds like, yes, you do see that there's something higher at work, and that's the mystery, whatever it is. There's something there, and that's what it's just fascinating, to think about. Breakthrough, it's a big component of the channel. It fires me up. It's kind of like my motivator that gets my engine going and makes my world go round these days. Having, just gone through, life experiences that like you don't sign up for, but inevitably life happens. And so like breakthrough, it means something totally different to me today than it did a decade ago. And, I now look at my burdens as blessings. I don't curse my curses, because those make us who we are. And so, curious at this season, during this season of life, what does breakthrough mean to you?
I think you kind of hit it on the head when you mentioned that shared iPhotos album that we have with the inspiration of things. Like I do, whenever I find little tidbits of like growth mindset, opportunities to learn, whatever else, like I try to suck them up like a vacuum. Like it's just give me more, please.
Yeah.
But breakthrough to me at any point in time now is really, when I was younger, it was definitely like a juncture. Like this was Michael A. Now I'm Michael B. This was Michael A as a soccer player. Now I have a left foot. That's a breakthrough. That was B. I think anymore, it's much more like growth mindset oriented. It's less fork in the road type, or like we're literally breaking through a wall or breaking through a window. It's less that and much more, am I growing? Do I have a new perspective? Am I thinking about things in a new way? On the pickleball court, breakthrough, because I think that's a different beast, is A, am I, again, still having fun?
Yep.
B, am I able to play the game the way I want to play the game? Am I able to hit the shots I want to hit?
Yep.
Am I able to do the strategies and implement the strategies that I want to implement?
Yeah.
And whenever I implement like a strategy, let's just say, you swing them out wide with a wide dink, not wide enough so they get an ATP, to then push a middle dink back deep, to then push them back wide again, to find the gap back middle and push it like out. Like I'm talking a lot of times as you rise through the layers of the game become very tangible. But
yeah,
a breakthrough for me is, did I just implement the strategy that I want to implement? Am I playing the way that I want to play? Or am I being forced to play somebody else's game? Anytime that I am able to play the game that I want to play, I consider that like a breakthrough on the court.
Moment.
Yeah, and like you said, you have to go and as you rise in the game, you have to go and take it from other good players.
Yeah. And
every player that you play in a money ball in a tournament that you win against, I think each one of those is a breakthrough on the court.
Yeah. And what is beautiful about that is the next time you hit the court, you're not starting back at where you were before. You have hit another level that you're starting from.
Yeah.
And then you're just constantly building, or if you digress a bit, like it's constantly changing, but like the hope and the aim always being breakthrough, you're just hitting a new level. Your barometer is something totally different, in a different stratosphere where, you're pushing those barriers, those boundaries, those barriers.
And I think the other thing about breakthrough is normally people always think about it as reaching new levels, which is, I think, a good way to look at it. But I think one of the things that when I reframe it this way in growth mindset and all these other things is you go also in life, like you said, it's not a straight line up, down. It doesn't just do this. Sometimes you go backwards. When you're talking about just getting better, playing better, implementing the strategies you want to implement, learning more, you can go backwards and then have another breakthrough going back forwards. You might not be at the level you were at before, but like you just had a breakthrough from here to here again. Perfect.
Yep.
It doesn't always have to be like shattering the glass ceiling breakthrough.
No.
It can just be improving, enjoying.
Because if you keep showing
learning.
off, eventually you'll continue. And I think that's where people like they may go up here a bit, and then that breakthrough where they go from after like just bouncing up and down where they could have went to the moon, they stopped. And you just don't know what's around the corner, type of thing. As cliche as that saying is, you never know.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah. Well, and you think about it, and this is a very good pickleball analogy. The first time you ever hit a cross court backhand roll dink that does a nice loop to the back corner and really puts somebody on their back foot on the third shot drop, and you're like, how many times did it take you to hit that perfect one a second time? The first one was a breakthrough, but you went backwards and missed 8 before you hit another one again. Like, I think that's where the definition of breakthrough can change. Like, the breakthrough was growth, but that doesn't mean you were here now forever.
Yeah.
No. You missed it a lot more times, and then you get better, and then you get consistent, and then you can hit it when you want.
Yep. Oh.
And it's just like all of those are little breakthroughs. And I think we get so caught up in, I did it.
Yep.
Without realizing that, like, okay, now I do it more. Now I do it consistently. Now I do it when I want to do it.
And there's so many layers there and levels, and you just never go here to there.
Yeah.
You've got to just put in the time.
Yeah.
And mess up and go through the failures to get to, I think it was one of the things you posted in our thing just recently. The most successful people are really good at failing.
Fail fast.
And fail fast. Exactly.
Often.
Very fast, very often, and keep going.
And they learn from it every time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, this is my favorite section of always, but for the sake of time, we'll start taking it home. What is something that most people don't know about you off the court?
We'll go real tangible thing here. I was in 5 choirs in high school.
Oh,
So that's why I don't mind like giving speeches, getting up in front of people, talking, whatever, stuff like that. So I was in 5 choirs in high school, like vocal jazz, chambers choir, men's choir, concert choir, cabaret show, musicals.
Oh my God.
So that's a fun one. The other one that most people don't know about me is I actually have a hard science background. So chemistry. And I was a like 7th author, which anybody who knows anything about authors and publications and stuff, the first author, the second author, the third author, they're like the main writers of the journal, like the article in the journals. I was like 7th author on this thing. So that can tell you where I was at. I was still an undergrad, but it was so cool. It was basically we were taking plant material. This is at the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. I was working with a guy named Derek Varden. Phenomenal. He's at a place called With Alder Fuels now doing like renewable airline fuel stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like he's their CTO,
Insane.
Chief Technology Officer. But we could take plant material. They genetically modify microorganisms to stop their metabolic processes at a certain point. So it spit out this chemical. And then they would upgrade. We would take this like very specifically made catalyst.
Okay.
We would put it in this container, pump it at super high pressure with hydrogen, spin it at like 2,500 RPM. It would spit out this precursor, is what we'll call it. My job, my very little job on this whole process project was to figure out a way to purify what it spit out there.
Oh my gosh.
So that's all I did. And then I did some method section stuff. I did not have a big role. But what we could do with that precursor, the cool thing is that plant material and the chemicals that we ended up creating through the process, we could turn into plastic or we could turn it into oil you could put in your car. We were the first group in the entire world that could, it was like the water cycle, but for carbon and oil you could put in your car, because then when you burn the oil from your car, it goes out in the atmosphere. The plants take CO2 from the atmosphere. Boom, you take the plant material, turn it into oil you can put in your car. All of a sudden now you're not pumping new CO2 into the atmosphere. You're literally just repurposing CO2 that's already been taken out of the atmosphere and putting it back into the atmosphere. So it was like the water cycle, but for CO2 and for gasoline in your car. And that's like, nobody knows that about me. I don't talk about it ever, but I have a hard science background.
I never brought that up. You're the Renaissance man, dude. Like, watch out, Bill Nye.
So, yeah.
Like I never, holy cow, you lost me at science. Like that is interesting. Okay. So do you still like stay involved with the science, but okay, like you don't have time.
No, I don't have time.
But that is a fun fact. I never knew that. Okay.
What I found out from that whole process, which is huge, and this is that growth and the other things, is like, I didn't want to be in a lab for 60 hours a week.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I pivoted in life and I went into college athletics and I got sports law and business and all these other things. And there you go. But that's 2 things, 5 choirs in high school and
that's science.
Published in the first ever article process to take plant material and turn it into like oil you could put in your car in like a renewable way.
It's so cool. Wow. Never knew that. Well, one thing before we take it home, I always like to ask, you go back to your 18-year-old self. What do you tell him? What do you tell Michael at 18 years old? Now that you've lived 30-some years.
When you're making decisions about what are important, choices you make, how you spend your time, put yourself in your 40-year-old shoes. It might be important to 19-year-old Michael, 20-year-old Michael. Is it going to be important or matter to 40-year-old Michael? And not all the things you're going to do, not all the like experiences you're going to have. Like that, I'm because of the choices I made when I was younger, I'm who I am today.
Yep.
But take that into consideration 1 out of 3 times, please. You'll get on the right track faster.
Well said. That's yes. Don't we all? And so if you're 18 and listening, take that to heart. What would you, we have this, Founders League here. I know you're working on some big things right now. It's so exciting watching the journey. I mean, you're on the road constantly seeing your stories, like you're building something special right now. And for those folks in Austin, like Founders League, I think, safe to say is so near and dear to so many people. It's truly an amazing community. It's my favorite thing in the pickleball space here in Austin, with Austin being the, arguably the best pickleball city in the country, in the world. Like that's saying something with this being here in Austin. So like, you're working on some exciting things. Anything you want to share? Where are you spending your time? Those sorts of things.
I think all I want to say on that front is look for a Founders League near you. We'll be in a lot of cities coming up. Historically, it was in Austin. We're in our 7th season this spring. This 7th season, we're going to have 60 teams of CEOs and founders. We're gonna go Tuesday night, Wednesday night. But the guys that started Founders League, Jesse and Darius,
Yeah.
I only came on relatively recently, like 4 or 5 months ago. I'm kind of heading up operations for them and helping them expand and all this stuff. But the guys that started it, and then the CEO Andrew Kaluza now, they kind of paused after last spring when they had, I think it was like 48 teams or something in the league, and they were like, well, wait a sec. If founders and CEOs in Austin love pickleball as the excuse to come together so much here, like I'm sure they love it in other cities around the country. And so last fall, we were in 4 cities. This winter, we're in 7. By June, we'll be in 12. By the end of the year, we want to be in 25 plus. So all I'm going to say about that is look for a Founders League near you. And if you want to spend 6 uninterrupted weeks in whatever city you live in, and you're a CEO or founder and you want to get to know other CEOs or founders, spend 6 nights a week or 6 nights, 6 weeks in a row playing with them, and you'll get to know them on a whole another level.
Yeah. That you wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah.
Because it's just
the community aspect.
What it like brings out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
magical.
It's special. Yeah, it is. It really is. I'm being a witness of it for the past few years here in Austin. So if you're a founder, if you're a CEO in another city, like where can they find you? How can they contact you?
Foundersleague.cc.
Foundersleague.cc.
Yeah. Okay. And you see our whole list of cities coming up and a lot more that we have expansion plans for.
So
submit your application.
Submit it, guys. Submit it.
We're nationally, we're going to be closing in on 1,000 members of CEOs and founders nationally, like in the not so far future, which is cool.
You think college is like, not that college isn't great, but I mean, in terms of like having access to a lot of great people, like this is next level on roids, like having access to just movers and shakers of your space, but just really good salty earth people who want to help. Like that's kind of what I feel like Founders League embodies. So, but how about personally, where can people find you? Because you're putting out a lot of good stuff, and you're just always being a voice of encouragement, which I respect and why I value the friendship. Where can people find you?
The two most the place the most active one is on Instagram, Michael.Salm, SALM. .pickleball, and then like you said, X, Twitter, it's just Michael.Salm.
Okay, beautiful.
Find me there,
my man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
I always take away something, every time we chat, and it's never enough time, but life is lifing, and it's hard to sometimes coordinate schedules, but just to make now happen means a lot. So I appreciate it, man. And to the viewers, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you took something away. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. And if you're going through some, tough times, if you're if you feel like you're broken down right now, just know around the corner, something much better can happen. Might be a breakthrough. So we'll see you next time.